You know what's crazy? Most people spend hundreds of dollars every single year on lawn care products, fancy fertilizers, and professional services, and their lawn still looks like a patchy, yellowed mess by July. But here's what most people don't realize. Fixing an ugly lawn isn't about spending more money. It's about doing a handful of simple things in the right order, at the right time. And once you know these tips, you'll never look at your neighbor's lawn with envy again. You'll be the neighbor everyone is asking for advice. Today we're covering 10 of the most effective, most beginner-friendly tips to transform an ugly lawn for almost nothing. Stick around because number 6 is the one tip that most lawn care experts completely skip. And the bonus tip at the end will save you serious money every single season. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm really glad you found us. This is the most budget-friendly gardening channel on YouTube, and we are all about getting it. Maximum results with minimum spend. I've been through the full cycle of ugly lawn shame myself. Bare patches, weeds taking over, grass that looked more gray than green. And I fixed it, mostly for free, by working smarter instead of harder. Everything I'm sharing today comes from real trial and error in a real yard. Let's get into it. Before we jump into the list, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you don't miss a thing. I drop videos every single week that'll save you money and help you grow better, whether that's your lawn, your garden, or your whole outdoor space. Okay, now let's get into the good stuff. Tip 1, the soil test secret. Number 1, the soil test secret. And here's the deal. This is the step almost every beginner skips, and it's the reason their lawn never really improves no matter what they try. Before you put a single dollar into seed, fertilizer, or anything else, you need to know what your soil actually needs. A basic soil test costs between $10 and $20 through your local cooperative extension office, and it tells you your soil's pH level, nitrogen content, phosphorus, and potassium levels. That's huge for busy people because instead of guessing and wasting $50 on the wrong fertilizer, you're putting your money exactly where it needs to go. Here's the kicker: most ugly lawns aren't suffering from a lack of fertilizer. They're suffering from soil that's too acidic or too alkaline for grass to absorb the nutrients already in the ground. A pH between 6.0 and 7.0 is the sweet spot for most cool season grasses like Kentucky bluegrass or tall fescue. If your soil comes back at 5.5 or lower, a 50-pound bag of agricultural lime runs about $7 to $10 and can fix that problem almost completely within one growing season. Bonus tip: when you get your results, ask the extension office for a grass variety recommendation specific to your region. That one piece of free advice can save you from buying seed that simply won't thrive in your climate. Tip 2, Mow High, Mow Often. Number 2, Mow High, Mow Often. This one sounds almost too simple, but it is genuinely one of the fastest ways to make a struggling lawn look healthier within weeks without spending a single extra dollar. Most beginners cut their grass too short. They think a shorter lawn looks cleaner and means less frequent mowing. But cutting grass below 3 inches stresses the plant, exposes bare soil, and gives weeds like crabgrass and dandelion exactly the opening they need. It's like pulling a hat down over your own eyes and then wondering why things aren't going well. Set your mower deck to 3.5 inches for warm season grasses like Bermuda or zoysia, and to 4 inches for cool season varieties like fescue or bluegrass. Taller grass shades the soil, retains moisture, and chokes out weed seeds before they can germinate. You could realistically cut your weed problem in half just by adjusting your mowing height, and the mow often part matters just as much. The 1/3 rule says never remove more than 1/3 of the grass blade in a single mow. If your grass is at 4.5 inches, mow it to 3 inches. Taking off too much at once shocks the plant and slows root development. Bonus tip: leave your grass clippings on the lawn. This is called grass cycling, and it returns nitrogen directly back to the soil, the equivalent of one free fertilizer application per season, saving you $20 to $30 a year. Tip 3, the overseeding window. Number 3, the overseeding window. If your lawn has thin spots, bare patches, or areas where the grass just looks tired and sparse, overseeding is your answer, and the timing is everything. For cool season grasses, the best overseeding window is late August through mid-October. Soil temperatures are still warm enough for germination, ideally between 50 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit, but the cooler air reduces stress on new seedlings. For warm season grasses like Bermuda or St. Augustine, late spring through early summer, when soil temperatures hit 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, is your window. A 5-pound bag of quality tall fescue seed like Rebel Supreme or Titan RX runs about $15 to $20, and covers roughly 1,000 square feet of thin lawn. Compare that to sodding the same area, which can cost $150 to $300 including installation. That's a saving of over $100 for one patch of lawn, and you can do the whole yard for the price of a nice dinner out. Here's what most people don't realize. You don't need a fancy overseeder machine. Rent one for $40 to $60 for half a day, or for small areas, simply rake the soil lightly with a metal rake to create surface contact, scatter seed by hand, and keep it moist for 14 to 21 days. That's it! Bonus tip. Mix in about 10% annual ryegrass with your main seed blend. It germinates in just 5 to 7 days and acts as a nurse crop holding moisture and shading the soil while slower seeds like fescue establish over 14 to 21 days. T1P4 Deep watering versus shallow water. Turring. Number 4. Deep watering versus shallow watering. This might be the single biggest mistake I see in beginner lawn care, and it costs people not just money on their water bill, but the actual health of their entire lawn. Watering a little every day trains grass roots to stay shallow right near the surface, where they're vulnerable to drought, heat, and foot traffic. Deep, infrequent watering forces roots to chase moisture downward, building a root system that can extend 6 to 12 inches into the soil. A deep-rooted lawn can survive a week or two of drought without going brown. A shallow-rooted lawn will start to stress after just 3 to 4 days. The target is 1 to 1.5 inches of water per week, applied in 2 deep sessions rather than 7 shallow ones. A simple tunic placed on the lawn while your sprinkler runs tells you exactly when you've hit half an inch. No expensive gauges needed. That's huge for busy people because you're running your sprinkler less frequently, which cuts our water usage by 20 to 30% compared to daily watering. On an average water bill, that can add up to $15 to $40 in savings over a single summer. Water early in the morning between 5 and 9 a.m., so the grass blades dry before nightfall. Evening watering leaves moisture sitting on the lawn overnight, which is an open invitation for fungal diseases like dollar spot or brown patch. TIP5 Aeration, the underrated fix. Number 5. Aeration, the most underrated lawn fix in existence. If your lawn has heavy clay soil, gets a lot of foot traffic, or has a layer of thatch thicker than half an inch, aeration is what unlocks everything else you're doing. Fertilizer, water, overseeding, none of it works as well as it should in compacted soil. Core aeration pulls small plugs of soil out of the ground, opening channels for air, water, and nutrients to reach the root zone. You can rent a core aerator from a hardware store or equipment rental shop for about $60 to $80 for a half day. For a typical 2,000 square foot lawn, a lawn service would charge $75 to $150 for this. Doing it yourself is a meaningful saving. The best time to aerate cool season lawns is early fall. Right before overseeding, you'll get germination rates up to 30% higher when seed falls directly into those open cores. For warm season grasses, aerate in late spring when the grass is actively growing and can recover quickly. Here's the kicker. Those soil plugs you pull out, leave them on the lawn. They look a little rough for a week or two, but they break down on their own and return organic matter and microbes directly back to the surface. No cleanup required. MID video engagement. Hey, quick pause here. If you're getting value from this, smash that like button. It genuinely helps this video reach more people who need exactly this kind of practical, no-nonsense help. And drop a comment below telling me which of these tips you're most excited to try first. I read every single comment, and I love hearing what's working for you in your yard. Okay, back to the list, and we're getting into the tips that most people completely overlook. TIP6, the fertilizer timing formula. Number 6, the fertilizer timing formula. And here's what most people don't realize. It's not about how much fertilizer you put on your lawn, it's about when you put it on. Fertilizing at the wrong time is like eating a huge meal right before bed instead of before a workout. The grass can't use what you're giving it. For cool season grasses, the most important fertilizer application of the year is in the fall, specifically September through early November. This is when grass roots are actively storing energy for winter and spring recovery. A fall application of a slow-release nitrogen fertilizer, like a 32-0-10 blend, applied at a rate of 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet, will do more for your lawn than 3 spring applications combined. A 25-pound bag of a quality slow-release fertilizer like Milorganite or a generic slow-release blend runs $18 to $28 and covers 2,500 square feet. That's roughly $7 to $11 per 1,000 square feet, and for most home lawns, 2 applications per year, fall and a lighter spring feeding, is genuinely all you need. For warm season grasses, flip the calendar. Your main feeding window runs from late spring through midsummer when the grass is growing most aggressively. Bonus tip: never fertilize a drought-stressed lawn. If your grass is already struggling from lack of water, fertilizer will burn the roots and make things worse. Water first, wait 48 hours, then fertilize. Tip 7 Weed control without chemicals. Number 7. Weed control without chemicals. Now, I'm not saying herbicides are evil, they have their place. But for beginners on a budget, hand-pulling and smothering weeds is genuinely effective, especially when combined with the mowing and watering habits from earlier in this list. The most cost-effective pre-emergent weed control or can use it as corn gluten meal. It's a natural byproduct of corn processing, and when applied in early spring before soil temperatures hit 55 degrees Fahrenheit, it prevents weed seeds from germinating. A 25-pound bag costs about $20 to $30 and covers 250 to 300 square feet. It's not as powerful as synthetic pre-emergents like pendimethalin, but it also adds nitrogen to the soil as it breaks down, which gives you a dual benefit. For existing weeds, a simple trick is a mix of 1 cup of white vinegar, 1 tablespoon of dish soap, and 1 tablespoon of salt. Spray it directly on weed leaves on a sunny afternoon. It's not systemic, it won't kill roots on deep-rooted weeds like dandelions, but for shallow annual weeds like hairy bittercress or chickweed, it's surprisingly effective and costs about 15 cents per spray bottle compared to $12 to $20 for a commercial spot herbicide. Here's the deal. The best weed control is a thick, healthy lawn. Weeds don't invade lush turf, they fill in where the grass is struggling. Every other tip on this list is also weed control. Tip 8 Top dressing with compost. Number 8. Top dressing with compost. This is the secret move that professional groundskeepers have been using for decades, and it's been almost completely ignored in the mainstream lawn care world. Top dressing means spreading a thin layer 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of finished compost over your existing lawn. You're not burying the grass. You're adding a thin blanket of organic matter that works its way down to the root zone over the following weeks. It improves soil structure, feeds beneficial microbial life, and smooths out minor bumps and low spots in the lawn surface. A cubic yard of bulk compost from a local landscape supplier runs $25 to $45 delivered, and it covers roughly 1,200 square feet at 1/4 inch depth. You can spread it by hand with a shovel and a metal rake. For context, a lawn service offering a comparable compost top dress application would charge $150 to $300 for the same area. The best time to top dress is right after aerating in the fall. The compost falls directly into the aeration holes and gets the closest possible contact with the root zone. Combine this with overseeding, and you've created near-ideal germination conditions for almost nothing. Bonus tip: finished homemade compost works just as well as purchased compost, often better. If you're not composting kitchen scraps and lawn clippings yet, that's a whole other video. But even a basic bin can produce enough material to top dress a 500 square foot area within one season. Tip 9 Patch bare spots like a pro. Number 9. Patching bare spots like a pro. Bare spots are the most visible sign of a struggling lawn. And the good news is, they're also one of the easiest things to fix as long as you know the 2-step method. Step 1 is figuring out why the spot is bare in the first place. Dog urine, fungal disease, grub damage, and heavy foot traffic all cause bare spots, but they each need a slightly different approach. Dog urine spots have a distinctive yellowed ring around a dead center patch. Grub damage means the turf lifts away like loose carpet, you can pull it up with your hand. Fungal issues usually have irregular borders and may have a grayish or pinkish tint at the edges. Once you've identified the cause and addressed it, the repair is simple. Loosen the top inch of soil with a hand rake. If the soil is compacted, work in a handful of compost. Scatter a Pachandra pear seed mix, something like Scott's EZ seed, which runs about $12 for a 3.75-pound bag, covering up to 140 square feet. Press it lightly into the soil with your foot, and keep it moist twice daily for 14 days. For dog urine spots specifically, water the area heavily for 3 to 4 days to flush the nitrogen salts out of the soil before reseeding. Skipping this step means you're planting new seed directly into toxic soil, and it will fail. Tip 10 The edge effect. Number 10. The edge effect. is the one tip that costs almost nothing and makes the single biggest difference in how your lawn looks even before anything else you've done has had time to fully kick in. A clean, defined edge between your lawn and your garden beds, walkways, and driveway creates a visual signal of intentionality. It tells everyone looking at your yard that this is a cared-for space. It's like the difference between a shirt that's wrinkled and one that's pressed the fabric is the same, but one looks put together and the other doesn't. A manual half-moon edger runs $15 to $25 and lasts for years. A good battery-powered edge trimmer runs $40 to $80. Either way, you're spending once and using it forever. Run your edger along every hard border sidewalks, driveways, garden beds every 2 to 3 weeks through the growing season. Here's the kicker. Once you have a clean initial edge cut, maintaining it takes about 5 minutes per 100 linear feet. It is genuinely one of the highest return tasks in all of lawn care in terms of visual impact per minute spent. Bonus tip. After edging, use a stiff broom or leaf blower to sweep the clippings back onto the lawn rather than into your beds or onto the pavement. It keeps everything looking sharp and takes 60 seconds. Outro. So there you have it, 10 completely beginner-friendly, budget-conscious tips to take your lawn from embarrassing to something you're actually proud to show off. From a $10 soil test that saves you from wasting money on the wrong products, to a half-inch edger that transforms how the whole yard looks in an afternoon. None of this requires a landscaping degree or a huge budget. It requires the right knowledge applied at the right time. Which one are you trying first? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to know. Whether it's the deep watering switch, the fall fertilizer timing, or finally getting that edger out, every small step you take adds up to a lawn that works for you instead of against you. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time. I drop new videos every week covering exactly this kind of practical, money-saving outdoor content. And next week, we're talking about why your grass goes brown in summer and the 3-step fix that costs under $20. You won't want to miss it.